Kyle Davidson and Luke Richardson have both commented on the Corey Perry situation now, and they have a lot to say about this going forward, as well as we have a new Corey Perry revelation from what may have actually happened with the incident with the Blackhawks. So we'll be going over all of that in this video, but before we get into it quickly, you just want to make sure that you're subscribed to the channel. If you're not, make sure to hit the sub button so you don't miss out on any of the Chicago Blackhawks news just like this, and you'll be the first to know. But like I said, we have a new update, which is a pretty big one for this Corey Perry situation here. This comes from CHGO Blackhawks, the podcast. New info from Frank Cervalli. Sources: an alcohol-fueled incident involving Perry was alleged to have occurred in Nashville on November 17th, the night prior to Chicago's game against the Predators, during a Blackhawks organized event that included sponsors and team employees in attendance. And this, also not in this tweet, but apparently occurred with a team staff member. Now, I'm not sure what the staff member is. This is also alleged. That's the whole point of this tweet here. But if this is true, this is definitely a major update in this whole situation, due to the contract being terminated, but not being something that, could against the team's, what the whole issue was. That's against the team policy, but not under an illegal situation. So this is obviously a very big one, knowing that this is probably why the Blackhawks did it, and something may have occurred in front of the sponsors and the partners and everything, which could have embarrassed the team, taken the team down a notch in the, their reliability status, dependent on whatever the sponsors are and whatnot. And yeah, this is a very big one if this is true. Obviously it's something that many other teams are going to have a look at if this is the case before signing him, if Corey Perry does sign with another team in his NHL career. It was only a couple days ago where we said that Luke Richardson said that Corey Perry would have to get kicked out of the league if before he'd retire, and now he kind of did get kicked out of the league in a sense. So that's one major update before that. We have not seen any comments from the GM yet, from the coaching staff. This is only very recent, actually, so we have no comments from anybody yet, no comments from Perry's agent regarding anything about that. But on top of that as well, we have the Kyle Davidson, a few pieces from Kyle Davidson of what he said in his post-press conference yesterday about the situation, as well as Luke Richardson says a few things today. And the first one here, which is the bigger part of this, I would say, is that Kyle Davidson said it's not about family, it's not about players, it's nothing like that, and wildly inaccurate and frankly disgusting. But he couldn't disclose many details. But this is the major part here. A lot of people think that it's what the original rumors were with involving Connor Bedard's family. It's not true. It's not even close to true, not in the realm. And that's one thing I think a lot of people have to, take into consideration, that this is the case. It is not what many people thought it was, and let that go by, because those rumors are just absolutely disgusting. You can only imagine what Connor Bedard is thinking about those as well, knowing they're not true, that it was not involved any family and everything like that. So if people are, putting stuff on Twitter or X or whatnot, talking about the situation, just remember that's not true. That's not what happened. We have another thing from Kyle Davidson here as well. He said that the Blackhawks they acted as quickly as they could. Davidson got very emotional. That led to a horrible rumor. The last 24 hours have been very disturbing, and I feel like I'm wearing it. I'm carrying that. And you can only feel bad for Kyle Davidson here. He's a very good GM. I really got to say, he's very smart. He's very professional, and not being able to tell people what is actually happening, what occurred, and many people are trying to just get it out of him. It's got to be a lot of pressure as well. He's one of the only people that know about this realistically, and having a lot of people on his back scratching at him to try and get any information out of him, that's tough. You got to feel bad for Kyle Davidson, but he handled this very professionally, and acting on how quickly they did it, I think was right. From November 17th is when the incident apparently occurred, according to Frank Cervalli, and a few days later he got released and a healthy scratch for a good while. They had to get everything in order first, make sure it wasn't any false claims or whatnot. So I gotta say, they did handle it as good as they could. They handled it well, and it's the best they probably could have done at the moment. But Luke Richardson has also said that Kyle Davidson's press conference was pretty much a lot of that. There was no new information revealed. It was kind of just talking a lot about it, about the situation, around the situation, not the situation itself. But Luke Richardson as well, in his press conference, not a separate one, this was last night after the game, I believe, he said, this is what he said about Corey Perry, who he previously coached in Montreal. So, Luke Richardson is probably the person on this team who understands Corey Perry the most, knows about him the most, knows him the most. He said, I recommended my good faith on the guy like him to come here, and he was doing his job on the ice. Other than that, I don't really know what went on. Off the ice, I'm obviously disappointed that we're in this situation, but there's no real second guessing it. We signed him as a really good player to help us in our time of transition here, and he showed us he's done that in the past. It's unfortunate we're now in the situation we're in. You know, you have to feel for Luke Richardson as well. The guy he's known forever probably never thought something like this would happen to someone he's coached prior in a different team, and now brought him over knowing the guy he is to help out this team, put his trust in him, and it went very south very quick. So, you know, it's a tough situation, but the staff has kind of said, I think, the extent of what they will say. I don't really see this going any further, the staff saying much else, unless Corey Perry himself or his agent or something else gets revealed elsewhere before they say anything. I'm sure they're not the ones who want to release the details. I'm sure Corey Perry's team don't want to release any details as well either. So, you know, I think this is the extent we're going to hear of this for now. I'm not saying that we won't hear any more, but it's a lot of stuff that has to be worked through, a lot of stuff with the staff members and the sponsors and everything. It's a very, very dire situation, I guess, for Chicago and for Perry. That's why they tried to sort this out as immediate as possible, as quickly as possible, to the fullest extent. So, you know, Corey Perry, on the situation of him, I don't know if we'll ever see him in the NHL again, unfortunately, now that a lot of teams realize that this is something that may have occurred, if this is actually what occurred. So I think a lot of teams would be a bit cautious on that, whether, you know, he comes back to the NHL, whether someone signs him and puts him in the NHL assistant program. Once again, that's not exactly for his situation, for what we know right now, but it's an unfortunate situation for all parties. You know, there's a lot of Corey Perry haters, but I think this is not an opportunity to hate on him. You know, it's just another thing that happens, made a mistake, and, you know, it is what it is at this point. There's a lot of bad stuff that happened with it, but, you know, that's pretty much the situation. There's not too much more to go on it from what we haven't heard, what we have heard, and whatnot. So that's all I got for you this video. If you want to keep up with this situation as it's ongoing for over the next days and weeks, make sure to subscribe to the channel. We'll have it here if anything else major comes out. But as of right now, I really don't know what else we will talk about with the Corey Perry situation if anything else comes out. This could be the last video on it, but you want to make sure to subscribe to the channel if you want to find out any more about this situation. We'll have it here. But if you did enjoy the video, make sure to give it a like. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, like I said, as well. Gonna be a lot of Chicago Blackhawks content coming your way. This team is getting very exciting after winning last night against the Seattle Kraken. So that's all I got. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day, and see you later.